Welcome to Game of the Week. This week's game is Valis, the Fantasm soldier for the Sega Mega Drive Genesis. Play this game! Why in the world would you want to play a game like Valis over every other game in the world right now? Well, it's simple really. Essentially, you play as a Japanese high school girl named Yuko. She has a sword. But basically, as you go throughout the entire game, you go ahead and attack enemies, but there are certain power-ups you can get onto the sword, which basically allow you to shoot laser beams! And depending on the power-up, depends on the different kind of projectile that comes off of the sword. Each projectile is good in the level it's introduced. If you see a new one you've never seen before, stick with that one. But do be careful. Technically, if you want to power up the weapon to its max capacity, you have to collect 3 of them in a row. Collect any of the other power-ups in between and you will lose it immediately. So, you want to know about the story. Well, the story in this game is actually kind of weird and somewhat complicated. And since these videos only go for about 3.5 minutes, I can't really show much of the story, but basically, Yuko has a friend, Reiko. And Reiko goes bye-bye in the very beginning. And then all of a sudden, a mystical cloaked figure gives Yuko a sword, and that's the sword Yuko uses to defeat monsters and enemies, because the balance of yin and yang is coming undone, and we must maintain the balance. And then you have to collect some gems and stuff. Speaking of gems, on a side note, after every boss you defeat, you get a gem. And when you get those gems, you can use magic. Magic is actually pretty fun in this game because you can do a lot of crazy stuff. It's like Mega Man, you defeat the boss, you get their power. Yeah! Back to story. After fighting all these bosses, you have one more boss you have to fight to get your last magical ability, and it happens to be Reiko, your friend. So you basically beat her and then she's gonna die, and then Yuko's like, no, how sad, and Reiko's like, don't cry, can I be your real friend, cause I'm bad? And Yuko's like, of course, and we're friends. And then Big Baddie shows up saying, meet me at my castle. And you go and you beat him up, and that was the game. And it wasn't a dream. But some things you should probably know if you're going to decide to play this game, quite honestly, which is, the jumps in this game are not very simple. Now, to put this into perspective, this game is actually a remake of the original PC 88 and MSX version. So, it's supposed to be better, but it's not. The definitive version of this game is actually on the PC Engine, but I don't have that, so oh well. The platforming really isn't the best, but quite honestly, the combat and everything else this game has to offer is well worth playing it over the flawed platforming. So if you don't mind some messed up platforming, go ahead and try this bad boy out. It's a lot of fun. And that was Valis for the Sega Mega Drive Genesis, your game of the week. So remember to tune in next week for the next game of the week. But until then, play Valis, and I'll see you then.